Watch our housewife, Barbara, navigate heartbreak, family drama, and forbidden love in the scandalous 80s classic Taboo. Taboo kicks off with a bang, or rather, a betrayal. In their heated exchange, Chris exclaims, "I've had it, baby, for years now. Every time we have our time together, it's like the first time for you. Every time we get cozy, it's like you're doing me a favor." To which Barbara responds, "That's terrific. I mean, just because I don't like to be cozy with the light on. Is that any reason for you to leave?" Chris Scott leaves his wife, Barbara, for his young secretary, Jean. But it's not just any simple case of infidelity. Chris is frustrated because Barbara doesn't like to keep the lights on during their cozy moments. Yes, you heard that right. Lights on, lights off, and boom, marriage over. Classic midlife crisis move, right? Now, Barbara is left to pick up the pieces of her shattered family and find a way to move forward with her teenage son, Paul. As Barbara tries to rebuild her life, she leans on her friend Gina for support. Gina's advice? Get back out there and live a little. And by live a little, Gina means get a job and maybe flirt a bit with old friend Jerry Morgan, who conveniently has a job opening. Barbara lands a job with Jerry and things start looking up. Before heading out, Barbara takes Gina's advice and decides to go on a date with Charlie, a friend Gina vouched for, claiming he was a really nice guy and too shy to make any moves. Barbara gets ready, slipping into a stunning red dress, unaware that her son Paul is spying on her from the hallway. She also likes to be a commando. Is that what the olden days was like? They drive out to a party at Monterey and things take an unexpected turn. Charlie, who seemed harmless, turns out to be quite pushy, insisting Barbara join the fun, leading to an uncomfortable and awkward night for Barbara. As the night goes on, Barbara is approached by different people, but she manages to fend for herself. Curiosity gets the better of her, and she takes a peek at the real action in the other room. She witnesses a bizarre and intense scene where everyone was lined up in a circle, but she remains unfazed. After several visits and peeks, Charlie finally decides to take her home. Barbara feels upset and lonely that night, and she struggles to cope with her newfound single status. Barbara's loneliness becomes palpable, setting the stage for what comes next. One night, Barbara and Paul share an emotionally charged conversation that goes too far. In a moment of vulnerability, their relationship crosses a line. She imagines herself as part of the activities she witnessed throughout her sleepless night. Eventually, she finds herself in her son's room while he is having a nightmare. "Are you okay?" she asks, trying to be the loving mother that she is. She does her best to comfort him, and in doing so, also comforts herself. One nightmare turns into a sweet dream for him as they share a cozy moment together. It seems Barbara didn't mind the lights after all. The next morning, Barbara is filled with mixed emotions. She writes Paul a note, trying to make sense of their complicated relationship. The note reads, "We lost our heads last night. What we did was terribly wrong. We'll talk about it tonight when I get home. Love, your mother." Meanwhile, Jerry is doing his best to woo Barbara. He's sweet, supportive, and oh so persistent. But Barbara is caught between her past, her present, and the societal norms that are screaming, "This is not okay." Jerry's patience is commendable, though. He's like that puppy that keeps bringing you its favorite toy, hoping you'll finally play fetch. Jerry invites Barbara out, saying, "Let's go to the beach for lunch. Maybe we'll drive down the coast highway a little later." Barbara reluctantly agrees, trying to navigate her tangled emotions. They have an amazing time out in the city. Barbara spills the beans to Gina about her newfound closeness with Paul. Gina's reaction? Shock, excitement, and a bit of inappropriate laughter. Gina says, "Are you telling me that you, with Paul? Oh my God, Barbara, this is different." It's like telling your best friend you've started knitting and they respond with, "That's interesting. How does it feel?" Things reach a boiling point when Barbara can no longer juggle her feelings. She has a heartfelt and somewhat melodramatic conversation with Paul about their future. Spoiler alert, it's as complicated as you'd expect. Barbara tells Paul, "Paul, what we did was terribly wrong. The world has a dirty word for this." Resolution, sort of. By the end, Barbara tries to navigate a new normal, balancing her feelings for Paul and her attempts to move on with Jerry. It's a roller coaster of emotions, misunderstandings, and a sprinkle of hope for a better future. Barbara resolves to make things right, telling Jerry, "I need time to sort out my priorities. I value our relationship, but I need to do things my way." Taboo was significant for its time because it pushed boundaries and challenged societal norms. It dared to explore themes that were, and still are, highly controversial, all while maintaining a narrative that kept audiences hooked. Despite its scandalous content, it opened up conversations about family, love, and the complexities of human relationships. Did you know Taboo was so impactful that it spawned 10 sequels? That's right, the story kept audiences hooked for years. And that's a wrap for today's episode of Adult Film Recaps. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon for more deep dives into the wildest stories cinema has to offer. Until next time, keep watching and stay curious.